Well, good day everybody. I'm finally settling down to doing this review. I've wanted to do this for the longest time, but I just didn't have enough time to do it properly. And I decided that it was better for me to wait. So here I am, finally ready to do this review. And I just want to say that right from the very start of my interest in dinosaurs, that epic battle scene, that struggle for survival between prey and predator, has always been represented by the T-Rex versus Triceratops scene, at least in my mind. I buy dinosaur books, both for the pictures and for reading, and I'd always want to see that mandatory scene before I considered that book complete. Now, here we have one of my very earliest dinosaur books. This was from 1981. Gosh, that's like 31 years ago. And yeah, the mandatory predators and everything, but it even had a scene where Gorgosaurus is actually being attacked by an I think this looks like an Ankylosaurus, but nothing like this sort of scene. That to me typified what dinosaurs was all about. That was when I was first learning about them anyway. And then later on I moved to more serious books, and here's one of my earliest favorite serious books. It's the Dinosaur Heresies by Robert T. Barker. And again, you've got, well, this is not a Triceratops, but it is close enough. It is a ceratopsian dinosaur after all. That's Syracosaurus. And it's attacking, or it's charging a T-Rex. So this sort of scene pretty much typified dinosaur battles for me. Now, this timeless scene is brought to life. It's brought to relief for me by... So this is a pretty big sculpture. So what I thought I'd do was to just highlight certain areas that I thought was interesting. Just focusing on segments at a time. I'm sure you'll find a lot more detailed reviews out there on the net. The first thing I want to talk about are the wounds. As you often see in battles between these two, there is lots of opportunity for gore. The first thing you notice are these wounds in the flank and the hip. Gashes, punctures, lacerations. So first let's look at these lacerations here. You might know that lacerations are wounds that come from tearing. So they are jagged, uneven, and have torn skin. You can see the peeling here caused by the tension in the movement of the animal. Puncture, on the other hand, is made by the entry of a very sharp object, and it doesn't usually bleed a lot. And I think I see that here. Oops. And I think I see that here. On the spines. Now this reminds me of a couple of fossil finds I read about, where chunks of bone along the spine have been bitten through, leaving puncture marks that might just fit the teeth of T-Rex. Many of these wounds actually glisten. Here's another more obvious laceration. I can just get my camera to focus. It's peeling, the tearing of the skin. And like I said, most of these wounds actually glisten, and you almost feel as if you touch them, the blood would still be wet. The best tradition of in the round sculpture, however, you can't view it from just one angle and expect to take everything in. So rotating this around, you realize that the Triceratops isn't the only one in strife. Here in the belly of the T-Rex, you see, yes, a wound. This is where the T-Rex has been punctured, and as soon as I saw this, I thought, whoa, he dead. And you can clearly see the detail of the wound. Nothing is spared here. Let's try to get the light going. There we are. Okay. See the detail of the wound? Nothing is spared here. You see rib skin, perhaps muscle, perhaps fat. Now I've read reviews from other collectors that complain a little bit. They were saying that the teeth of their T-Rex was too bloody. And in fact, I've seen some photos where the entire row of teeth were just blotched with red. That's not the case with mine. You can still see translucence of the... you can see there's a translucence to the blood, and the white of the teeth actually shows through. So maybe I'm just lucky. So now what you think of as a stereotypical roar of the challenge or aggression can be reinterpreted in a different light. One of outright pain and maybe even surprise. Continuing around, you see yet another wound on the tail this time of the Triceratops. And this one looks bad. It might even be the very first bite the T-Rex was able to get in from an initial surprise attack. Now the thing that really strikes me is the absolute dynamism of the piece. The precariousness of the situation, the idea of shifting balances, and a ferocious moment frozen in time is simply astounding. You get an incredible feel of intensity, action, and desperation. Just from this angle, you can see how tenuously these two dinosaurs are perched, and their tails are almost intertwined. In fact, they are intertwined. And this really looks to me to be a dance or soon to be embrace of death. I'm imagining that they're about to topple over some precipice, and even if it's just solid ground the T-Rex hits and it fractures a hip bone, that would pretty much be the end of it. Just look at the way the perturbation of balance is depicted in the T-Rex. His center of gravity is way out of his base of support, and in fact, hardly a foot of both dinosaurs touches the ground except this one ankle joint. Now, the whole thing seems to hinge on this one ankle attachment, and it does seem to me to be quite a lot of stress for the ankle to be taking on. So all you have is just... So of course it won't come out now that I'm trying to show it to you, but all it is just a peg, a single peg like that, and it pegs into hole the base, and I'm a little bit worried about that. I'm not sure if I need to reinforce it or not. But here really is a piece that looks good from any angle you choose to view it from. The whole thing is just dynamic. I don't know, I wish I had a better word, but just the word dynamic just keeps getting into my head, and that's the best way I can describe this incredible piece.